become part of this investigation?
During March 2020, Lieutenant General Jacobs purchased the tools of trade or of crime intelligence, which they utilize in their execution of their duties at the value of 120 million, which was coupled with the vehicles where those two tools were going to be installed. Now, I think it was in 2022 at the early, I instituted, because they were not utilized due to the fact that they did not obtain the exemption certificate that was supposed to be obtained. In fact, they should have, after they applied and everything was approved, they should have applied for the exemption certificate before purchasing, but they purchased before.
What were the tools of trade?
It was the interception equipment that they utilize in the crime intelligence environment, the grabber, so referred to as the grabber.
And what were they supposed to have done?
They should have first obtained, after authorization to purchase, they should have stopped there and apply for the exemption certificate, but they purchased and requested exemption certificate later. So the equipment was
Lieutenant General, that section is labeled investigations that you conducted against General Jacobs. When you say they, who are you referring to?
To General Jacobs. I'm referring to General Jacobs.
So he.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when I discovered that those equipment are not being utilized, I was even taken on a tour by the crime intelligence officials when at a situation when I was acting on behalf of General Mfaz. They were gathering dust. So I instituted a fruitless and wasteful expenditure because it was almost 2 years when they bought the equipment and it was not being utilized. Even National Treasurer wrote us a letter in that regard.
Were there any steps taken against Lieutenant General Jacobs for that waste of expenditure?
I was still conducting that investigation when I was suspended.
At paragraph 31, you say in October 2020, you were tasked to investigate the circumstances surrounding the killing of Colonel Charles Kine. What was the outcome of your investigation?
The outcome of that investigation led to Lieutenant General Jacobs and others, not him alone, to be disciplined. Together with the one on paragraph 32, I'm trying to now to push in order to, it leads to both, to those two cases, led to General Jacobs to go through a disciplinary process, which he took it to the council SSBC. And the same matter which I referred earlier on that meeting of the 5th of March is when General Kele was not happy with me, saying, why did I recommend that General Jacobs must be disciplined, etc., etc. However, interestingly, those two cases, as we speak, I think it is last year, General Masemula has withdrawn them.
Okay. Before they were withdrawn, you attach a document at page 155 of the bundle in support of your of your paragraph, and that is a report. Would you like to speak to that?
155.
Yes.
Oh, 155 deals, yeah, it is the investigation that I was tasked by General Stoll emanated from the report he received from IGI, which my reports in this regards were, I couldn't, yeah.
You may proceed. And then just move on from that paragraph. What you say in paragraph from that document, what you say in paragraph 33 is that you were summoned by Minister Cele regarding this investigation into General Jacobs.
Yes.
What did he summon you for? And
He was querying that why did I recommend that General Jacobs must be subjected to a disciplinary process? And I explained that it was not my own doing. It was based on the evidence that I gathered, as well as the statements that were provided. And on also what was expected of him, Jacobs, in the matter. So he did not do certain things, or he omitted to do certain things, hence my recommendations fingered him in that particular report. And it was not only him and others.
when he summoned you, specifically in respect of Lieutenant General Jacobs, is it common for a minister to get involved in matters, in operational matters?
It is not common, especially in regard to disciplinary matters. And a few weeks thereafter, after that encounter with the minister, I was also approached by a team of investigators from IPED, which was accompanied by a prosecutor by the name of Mr. September. So interestingly, in that, they were investigating the criminal matter, because after my report, I caused for the case to be opened for referred to IPED. Now they were investigating that particular case. Now, interestingly, is the same line of questioning and that I received from the Minister Cele also came from this team, which was a surprise for me. But I suspected that they had a meeting before they came to see me. And I did not investigate that matter alone. I had two other major generals who were assisting me in that matter. So we were all interviewed and we all stood by our findings.
What was the minister's, what was he hoping to achieve by calling you into a meeting specifically regarding General Jacobs? Did he inform you exactly what he was expecting of you in that meeting?
I think the minister wanted, my understanding at the time, wanted me to recall my report and change recommendations against Jacobs.
Thank you, Lieutenant General. We are now at paragraph 35 of your statement. This is the investigation regarding the removal of Major General Morsi, whom you say was removed as the chief executive chief audit executive. Can you comment on that?
Yes, Major General Morsi was appointed as a chief audit executive. So during his appointment, the panel that appointed him, there was a complaint which was investigated by the Public Service Commission. And Public Service Commission discovered that when they appointed her, she did not qualify. She did not have relevant qualifications as per the advertisement to be appointed. And the panel that appointed her was recommended that disciplinary steps must be taken against it. The General Morsi also, the Public Service Commission report recommended that she must be demoted to a brigadier. However, SAPS decided to keep her in that position and be given an opportunity to acquire those qualifications while acquiring experience at the same time.
So what was Minister Cele's stance on this?
She was appointed in 2012, but up until in 2022, there were still those reminding us from Public Service Public Service Commission to find out has she completed those qualifications, but she hasn't. So then the minister was not happy with the removal of Brigadier Nkosi, Major General Nkosi, as the audit executive, because she was moved to a position of the same level, Major General, because SAPS felt that she has been in that position for a very long time. And even though she failed to acquire the qualifications as that was what was required of her, but it will not be human to demote her.
What was the outcome of that investigation?
The investigation was that, as I said, General Nkosi was supposed to be demoted, but SAPS took it on a humanitarian reason.
Yes, you state that you investigated it. What was your outcome of the investigation? What did you find upon the completion of your investigation?
That was not my investigation. It was the Public Service Commission investigation.
Okay, we can now move on to paragraph 36 of your statement. At paragraph 36, you say that around March 2022, there was a committee meeting. What of the minister and MEC's committee meeting held in Durban? What instruction did Minister Cele give you at this meeting regarding the IDT?
During the MINMEC meeting that was held in Durban, the minister gave me a directive that I needed to engage with the deputy minister, and we look into the possibility of utilizing the IDT in the infrastructure to assist the SAPS with the infrastructure development, which is the building of the police station, in order to fast track the backlog of the building of the police stations. The process, which was based on a particular treasury, treasury instruction note. So I did the work together with the DM and the team, and after finalizing the work, we compiled a recommendation and information note to General Masemula, which he needed to approve. Now, during the next MINMEC, which was in June 2022, in East London, I presented that outcome of the project, and the meeting was happy with the presentation, and I even indicated that the information note for rolling out that particular project was with the National Commissioner, which needed to be signed off. Now, when we came back from that particular meeting, the National Commissioner said to me, he wanted me to change certain paragraphs or sentences. For example, one of the things he wanted me to change was that I must not say that the directive that I received was given to me by the minister. And I said to the National Commissioner, no, it can't be, because this was in the open meeting. How can I say it was not him? And he also wanted, can't even remember now because I'm talking from my head. Then he said, you must be careful of Mr.
Lieutenant
Atai.
General, you don't have to talk from your head. You can actually go to your statement. We are at paragraph 39.
39.
Yes. And there are relevant annexures, so you can just read from your statement.
Yeah, and then he said, yeah, you.
No, Chair, you can't say we're at paragraph 39. She was going to talk to paragraph 37.
37, yes.
What had happened, Honorable Member, is that the The witness spoke about paragraph 36, then she jumped to paragraph 40 to talk about the second meeting, and then she went back to 37, but I'm now bringing her back to where she was starting. And the purpose of that is to take her to the annexure that she relies on. So she, in her evidence, had just moved a couple of paragraphs. I was intending not to disturb her her train of thought, but I'm keeping a mark of where she is. You may proceed.
Okay, I also wanted to say that General Masemula made a comment to me that I must be careful of DM Castle Matale because he want to use this exactly a process to swindle funds in order to find the AFF. And I said to General Masemula, which is what made it strange because he wanted me to say the instruction never came from General Gelek. So in other words, he wanted it to look like it came from Mr. Matala. Then I said, no, I'm not aware of what he was insinuating, and I don't want to mix my responsibilities with the politics that you are telling me about. I will not change that. And he made it very clear to me that your stubbornness is going to cost your career. Then I said, so be it, General, because there are witnesses that were there in the meeting.
You then state that at paragraph 38, what was your response to General Masimula's insinuation?
I told him that I'm not aware of what he was insinuating, and I also don't want to mix my responsibilities with what he was politicking about, and I will keep those paragraphs as they are because these matters and directives were given to me in an open meeting.
Okay. This suspicion that General Masimola had regarding Deputy Minister Matale's intentions, was there anything to support those allegations?
There was nothing except that he said those things to me.
So in the conversation, did you probe further to ascertain why he was involving politics in a meeting that had to do with contracts and infrastructures? Where was the suspicion coming from?
I told him that I didn't probe further, except that I felt that he threatened me that your stubbornness, because he wanted me to remove that particular sentence that I received a directive from the minister. And he was trying to convince me that by saying that the statement that I must be careful of Mr. Matal, but there was nothing to me that was projected by the deputy M that he had certain interest in the matter, and the task was given to us with the minister, by the minister, with the DM, and the officials that I worked with from supply chain were responsible for facility management.
Okay.
Now,
So,
he threatened, I felt threatened, I didn't further. He said, your stubbornness will cost your career, so be it.
Okay. The information note that you rely on, which you then subsequently submitted, is annexure FNV 11, and that can be found from page 269 of the bundle.
Let me correct it, Honorable Chairperson. It is not, what I attached here is not the information note, because the information note was in the office of the National Commissioner. What I attached is a relevant document of how we engaged in order to arrive at that information note.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are now,
And if I may, if I know you are running for time, if I may, on that very same day when we discussed this with General Masemola, we were at Limpopo, and that was exactly on the same day when we arrived back from that meeting in Limpopo. We had another meeting in the evening until after 9. That's when he informed me that he is under pressure to suspend
To suspend who?
me.
Oh, okay. What was your reaction to that statement?
I asked him, oh, he said it was people from above, others from outside. I said, who? He couldn't give me the names.
We are now at paragraph 41 of your statement. There you deal with unlawful contracts and instructions. You start with the RT15 contract, and you say that in April 2022, Minister Cele accused you of having approved and awarded a bigger part of the cell phone contract to MTN at the behest of Deputy Minister Matale. Can you give details of what was of this accusation? What led to the minister accusing you of awarding the contract to MTN, and why did he believe that it was at the behest of Deputy Minister Matale if you had not actioned out what he had asked you to do earlier, this Deputy Minister?
RT15 is a transversal contract that is entered into by National Treasurer. It is a cell phone contract. Now, this cell phone contract, the National Treasurer identified 4 big companies of cell phones and escalated it to all government departments to do their own processes according to their needs. So there was a process that was engaged here by supply chain together with TMS, Technology Management Services, in order to come to the conclusion. And they finally recommended for approval the MTN. Now, the minister was accusing me with regard to that why was the contract given to MTN? Because MTN did not have infrastructure as compared to what Vodacom had. Then I explained to the minister that it was not me, it was the process that the 2 divisions were engaged in that came up with those recommendations. And finally, it went to the BAC who approved it. But I also mentioned to the minister that not everything has been finalized as yet, because there was, it's called voice on call, where there was a project, a pilot project where all these 4 service providers were given an opportunity to do a project concept. And I told him that they still need to evaluate